Welcome to my channel. Ever noticed how some men don't need to say much to leave a lasting impression? They don't need to constantly explain their actions, share their every thought, or chase validation. They simply exist. And that's what makes them magnetic. Now, imagine being that man. Not cold, not distant, but unpredictable in the most captivating way. When you've come hard to read, something extrinsic happens. She's forced to question, to wonder, and that wonder, he turns into obsession. In this video, we're diving deep into the psychological, silence, and emotional detachment. It's not about playing games. It's about creating a dynamic where she's drawn to you, constantly searching for answers that only you hold. We'll explore how stepping back, allowing her to fill in the blanks, can transform her perception of you. Ready to learn the secret tab, coming irresistibly mysterious? Let's get into it. The mystery she can't solve. Number 1. The mystery she can't solve. We live in an age where people overshare everything. Every thought, every feeling, every little detail. But when you hold some of yourself back, not in a cold way, but in a grounded, self-assured way, it creates a mystery she wants to solve. She replay conversations, analyze your expressions, and try to decode your intentions. And here's the thing. Mystery is magnetic. It's human nature to be drawn toward what we can't fully grasp. Themament. She realizes she can't read you like an open book. Her mind starts working over time. She'll wonder why you didn't rush to fill every silence. Why you don't constantly explain yourself. Why your life seems full, even with other validation. That unshakable calm tells her something she can't quite put into words. You're not waiting on her approval to feel complete. This is where a Stoic mindset works in your favor. You don't hide who you are. But you also didn't hand your soul to someone who hasn't earned it. A Stoic man understands that his thoughts, his space, and his energy are valuable. And not everyone deserves immediate access. You're not playing games. You're living with intention. You speak when it matters. You share when it's meaningful, and you let your actions carry through it of your character. Imagine having a conversation where she leans and expecting more.
I'm waiting for you to spill your inner world.
But you don't rush. You let the silence breathe. You let your presence speak louder than your words. And in that space, curiosity starts to build. She might start noticing the small things. How you seem unaffected by her delayed replies. How you are comfortable walking away at the end of a conversation without trying to ostrich it. How you don't chase after validation with constant check-ins. That restraint. That quiet self-possession becomes something she can't shake off. She'll start to think about you when you're not around. Wondering what's on her mind. Wondering what it would take for you to truly open up. And that's the paradox. By not seeking her attention, you make her want it more. You're not performing for her gaze. You're simply being a man at peace with himself. And in a world addicted to noise and overexposure, that peace, becco messerasistal. Silence that speaks volumes. Number 2. Silence that speaks volumes. Most men panic in silence. They rush to fill every gap with words, jokes, or references, as if quiet means something is wrong. But a man who can let silence hang without discomfort stands out in a world where everyone is oversharing, over-explaining, and overcompensating. That stillness doesn't push her away. It draws her closer. It forces her to lean in, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. She starts replaying your last words in her head, studying your expressions, watching the way you move, trying to decode what's going on in your mind. And the more she can treat you, the more invested she becomes in trying. This is where curiosity transforms into something deeper, into fascination. When she's unsure where she stands with you. When she can't predict her next move. Your silence becomes a puzzle. Her mind keeps coming back to psychology tells us people are drawn, uncertained. It triggers a need for resolution. In your case, you become unfinished story. She can't stop reading. Stoicism teaches that silence is in emptiness. It's a deliberate choice. It's the discipline of not reacting just. Seek approval. The strength to literally reveal itself without your interference. When you're grounded in woe, you are. When you don't measure your worth by how quickly you respond or how much you reveal, that quiet self-assurance becomes magnetic. Picture this. You're sitting across from her at dinner. There's a pause in the conversation, not awkward, just in filled. Most men would rush in with a joke, a question, anything to avoid the quiet. But you simply take a slow sip of your drink, glance out the window for a moment. Then meet her eyes again, steady, calm, unhurried. That moment without a single word communicates that you're comfortable in your own skin. You're not performing. You're not seeking validation. You're just present. And in that space, her mind races. What is he thinking? Why is he so calm? Why do I want to know so badly? The truth is, you don't need her to figure you out, and you don't need to give her all the answers. You live in a way that makes her want to seek them on her own. That's the paradox of mystery. It doesn't come from pretending to be Sumion. You're not. It comes from being so centered in yourself that you don't feel the need to reveal everything. Sometimes, the most intriguing thing you can say is nothing at all. Because in thought nothing, she'll hear everything her mind is desperate to discover. And thoughts when she becomes truly invested. And if you've ever noticed how the quietest moments can speak the loudest, then you understand the power you hold here. Your silence isn't passive, it's intentional. It's the space where she does the chasing without even realizing, where her curiosity turns into emotional investment. So before we move in, I want you to think about this. How different would your connections be if you stopped rushing to fill every pause? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Or if you've ever seen this dynamic play out, simply type quiet creates curiosity so I know you're with me. And while you're here, don't forget to hit that like button. It tells me this message, islanding. And stick around because what's coming next will take this idea to an entirely new level. Emotional self-control is magnetic number 3. Emotional self-control is magnetic. When you don't instantly react out every emotion, she notices. She can't tread you because you don't wear your every feeling on your sleeve. You're nothing in who you are. You're simply not broadcasting every rise and fall of your mood for the world to see. Instead bung swept away by the tide of themament. You take a breath, you process, and you respond with intention. That alone sets you apart in a time when most people rush to speak before they think, post before they reflect, and react before they truly understand what's happening. Imagine this. She makes a de-acing comment or she brings up a subject she knows used to push your buttons. Most men would take the bait, argue, defend themselves, or try to explain their side. But you meet their eyes, maybe with a quiet smile, and you let the moment pass without giving her that emotional hit she weighs, expecting. Your calm doesn't just surprise her. It disrupts her pattern. She realizes she can't provoke you, she can't predict you, and she can't pull you into her emotional frame. That unsettles her in the most intriguing way. This is the essence of what the Stoics understood. Emotions are too big knowledged, but never allowed talking me into our actions. Marcus Aurelius Zermond himself daily that our powerlies and our ability to govern our own mind no matter what happens around us. And here's the truth. When you master that, you become magnetic. A man who can't stand steady in both praise and insult, who can enjoy joy without clinging to end, face discomfort without breaking is rare. Women notice that kind of presence beckos. It's the opposite. Desperation. It's quiet certainty. The more she can't predict your next move, the more she starts to lean in. Cher plays your reactions or your lack-off reaction in her head. She wonders what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what it would take to truly reach you. That curiosity grows into a pull she can't quite explain. Because mystery isn't just about withholding words. It's about showing you're a man who chooses when and how to engage. And that choice is never up for negotiation. And when she can't read you, she doesn't just notice. She becomes obsessed with finding out what's behind that strength. The power of ambiguous presence number 4. The power of ambiguous presence. Being present doesn't mean being predictable. You can be warm, attentive, and engaging, yet still maintain a sense of independence that keeps her guessing. She'll feel your energy in the room. Butch won't know if you're fully available or just passing through, and that's where the intrigue begins. Maybe you'll lean in, making her laugh with a story, your eyes holding hers for just a second longer than expected. She feels that pulse of connection. But before she can anchor herself in it, you've shifted talking to someone else, sharing a moment with a friend or simply standing alone in quiet observation. You don't hover. You don't linger with the silent desperation that most men show when they're interested. Instead, you move with the natural ease-off, someone who has his own world to tend to. That contrast being close enough to feel, yet distant enough to miss Cortez's attention she can't easily shake. The truth is most men either smother her with constant attention or retreat completely. She was lucky to have. A Stoic warrior moves the same way, rooted, intentional, and impossible to pull off balance. He gives without tying himself. He connects without losing himself. His worth isn't determined by another's reaction, but by his own alignment with his principles. When you embody that, you send a silent but undeniable message. You are not hard to entertain or to prove your value. You already know it. You're a man who chooses where his energy goes, and every choice is deliberate. The more she tries to read you, the more she realizes she can't fully map your inner world. And thoughts when obsession starts, not because you're playing games, but because she senses that your presence is a privilege, not a promise. And when Amon's presence feels like a gift instead of a guarantee, she'll find herself wanting to unwrap it over and over again, even if you never let her see through the whole thing. That's the kind of presence that stays in her mind long after Themamin has passed. It's not about withholding to manipulate. It's about living in such a way that your life has its own gravity. And when you carry yourself like that, people naturally feel the pull. So take a moment and think. Are you the man who drifts into her orbit because you have nothing else going on? Or the man whose orbit she's trying to enter because she can feel thericness of your world? I'd love to hear our thoughts. Drop them in the comments. Or if you just want to let me know you're on this path. Type presents you over pursuit. Actions that don't match her assumptions. Number 5. Actions that don't match her assumptions. If she thinks she has you figured out, surprise her not with drama, but with growth. Maybe you used to be the man who replied instantly, almost as if her messages were the highlight of your day. But now you respond when it fits into a rhythm without guilt or overthinking. Maybe you used to drop of everything, cancel a workout, skip a meeting, rearrange your own priorities to make time for her. Now you keep your commitments to yourself first. You'll go to the gym because it matters to you. You work on your projects because they're part of your vision. You spend time with friends or in solitude because you nourishes your mind. And here's the key. It's not that you're ignoring her. It's that you're no longer living as I for validation is your oxygen. This isn't about playing some cold, manipulative game. It's about shifting from living reactively to living intentionally. A Stoic would say that man who anchors himself in his own principles cannot be moved by the tides off someone else's moods. Marcus Aurelius swined himself daily to focus only on what is within his control, and your choices reflect that. You can't control how she reacts, but you can control how you show up, where your energy goes, and whether your actions serve your growth or just her comfort. And here's the part that unsettles her. She remembers how you used to be. She remembers the Monwo would drop everything just to mock her happy. The one who would mirror her emotions, the one she could predict like clockwork. But now, she sees glimpses of a man who moves according to his own compass. She watches you go about your life without waiting for her permission or her applause. That's when the shift happens. Her certainty about you begins to crack, replaced with questions she can't easily answer. In a world where most people cling to familiar patterns, your evolution stands out. You're not rebelling against her expectations, you're simply outgrowing them. And the more she realizes she can't predict your next move, the more she feels drawn to figure you out again. That's the paradox. The less you live to meet her assumptions, the more space you create for her curiosity to grow. You've become a moving target, not because you're earning from her, but because you're earning toward a better version of yourself. You're not an open book by choice. Number 6. you're not an open book by choice. Some men live with their hearts unthoughts on full display, pouring out every detail of their lives in hopes offbung, accepted, understood, or loved. They believe that constant openness will bring closeness. But more often, it creates predictability, and predictability can dull intrigue. You've chosen a different path. You understand that your life is not a stage for a very own to watch, and your mind is not aviary for anyone to read at will. When you decide to be intentional with what to share, each word and action gains weight. Your stories, your opinions, your emotions, they're not scattered free like loose change. They're held with care given to those who have truly earned them. Privacy isn't secrecy. It's a form of self-respect, a recognition that your inner world is valuable and hold, be guarded like any other treasure. This is why when you do speak, it lands differently. People listen, they pay attention, because they know you didn't waste words. And for her, this creates a puzzle she can't solve. She'll replay your conversations in her head, searching for hidden meanings. You shared that particular detail and nothing more? She'll try to predict your next move, only to find that she'll can't because you don't operate on the script she's used to with other men. That unpredictability starts to pull at her curiosity, turning it into a quiet obsession. A Stoic man doesn't rush thoughtful silence or prove himself to anyone. He knows that truth doesn't require explanation and that his worth is not determined by how quickly or how deeply exposes himself to others. He remains grounded in who he is, unshaken by the need to be fully understood by the outside world. In your case, that discipline becomes a magnetic force. The less you give away, the more she wants to know. And the more she wants to know, the more she invests her energy into read you without realizing that you've already decided she will only ever see what you choose to reveal. Before we move forward, take a moment to think about this in your own life. Have you ever noticed how the people who speak less often seem to be the ones whose words stay with you the longest? How the quietest moments sometimes are kinder than the noisiest ones? That's not an accident. It's the weight of intention. So, I want to hear from you. How do you decide what parts of yourself you share and what you keep for those who have truly earned it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. Confidence without overcompensation. Number 7. Confidence without overcompensations. When you walk with real confidence with it, flashing it like a neon sign or trying to prove anything, she can't help but wonder where it comes from. Is it your work? Your discipline, your mindset? Maybe it's the way you move through the world without chasing validation. Or how you can savor a moment without needing to post it for everyone to see. Real confidence isn't about volume or theatrics. It's steady, unshakable, and quietly magnetic. You didn't need to announce your worth Beckos. It's already carved into the way you carry yourself. In Stoicism, this kind of confidence is born from living in alignment with your values. Master ingest before trying to influence anyone else. And understanding that no one, not even her, holds the power to define your value. Picture this. You're out with friends, and someone throws a sarcastic remark your way. Most men would bite back, defend themselves, try to one-up the comment, or scramble towing the exchange. But you just smile, give a small nod, and let it pass. You don't flinch, you don't text-plain, and you don't feel the slightest urge to prove anything. That subtle act tells a louder story than any witty comeback could. It says you're neither to compete for approval. You're no insecure about your place. You're here because you choose to be, not because you need to be accepted. And this is where the intrigue begins. That kind of composure gets under her skin. She'll start wondering what fuels thought and shakable calm. Is it success? A deeper purpose? Or maybe the quiet truth that you're not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't align with you? She'll notice your reactions, or they'll cough them and replay them in her mind. She'll search for cracks in the armor, waiting for a sign that it's just an act. But when she realizes it's not, when she sees that your confidence isn't a performance, but a way of life, it hits her. She can't read you. And harass the paradox. What she can't read, she can't ignore. That mystery becomes a thread she can't stop pulling. She wants to know what makes you tick, what you really feel, what it would take to make a waver. And the more she can't figure you out, the more she's drawn in. Because a man who doesn't overcompensates, a man who already knows he's enough, and in a world full of people fighting to be noticed, that's the man who leaves deepest mark. Number 8, purpose that outshines romance ethic. Outshines romance. A man with a mission is harder to redback. His life doesn't orbit around a woman. It orbits around purpose. When she realizes she's not your main source of fulfillment, it both frustrates and fascinates her. Most men, without even realizing it, make romance these interpreters of their lives. They shift their schedule, abandon their plans, and let their ambitions take a back seat justo. Keep her attention. But you, Houston, depart. You can cherish her company. You can value her presence, Butu. Don't need it to define your sense of worth or direction, and that changes everything. She starts to notice subtle things, the way you're fully engaged when you're with her. But the moment you'll leave, your mind is back on your projects, your goals, your discipline. You're not glued to your phone waiting for her reply. You're in the gym building your body. You're not obsessively checking her social media. You're mapping out your next move-in. Life. That quiet certainty unsettles her because it tells her she's dealing with a man who can't be controlled by attention or affection alone. This is where Stoicism breathes life into your presence. The Stoics believe that Amon's purpose is his anchor, the thing that keeps him steady when the tide's off life or the shifting emotions of others try to pull him off course. Marcus Aurelius didn't let love, loss, or approval decide his path. He followed virtue, duty, and inner discipline. And when you live this way, your energy feels different. It's grounded. It's not seeking constant reassurance because it already has direction. She may test you. She might withhold her attention to see if you'll chase, or hint at other men to see if you'll compete. But instead of reacting out of fear, you keep walking the path you've chosen. Not because you're cold, but because your mission matters. And that's when the real shift happens. She realizes she can't predict you, can't sway you with games, and can't pull you off track with emotion. That combination of self-possession and focus is rare, and it's exactly why she finds herself more drawn to you. In Dond, you're not ignoring her. You're reassuring her that while she may be part of your life, she will never be the center of it. And that truth is both the most frustrating and the most magnetic thing she ever experienced with you. Think about this for a moment. How many men do you know who truly live this way? How many keep their purpose at the center and let everything else revolve around it? Most can't because it's easier to chase validation than to walk a lonely road towards something greater. But if you've ever been on that road, you know the power it gives you. It changes the way you move, the way you speak, the way you respond when life tests you. So I want you to reflect on this. Are you building a life so strong that no one, not even the woman you love, can shake its foundation? Share your thoughts in the comments, because they are. Perspective might just challenge another man to step onto his own path. Consistency without predictability. Number 9. Consistency without predictability. You hold the same values and boundaries no matter what, but you don't become a robotic. Your actions reflect your principles, yet you adapt to situations as they come. This balance keeps heritage. She knows who you are, but she doesn't always know how you'll express it. That's the Stoic way. Steadfast in values, flexible in execution. Think about it. Most people are either a lover of the place, it's constantly shifting based on who they're with, or they're so rigid that being around them feels predictable and dull. But you're on a third. You're grounded in what matters to you. Your work ethic, your self-respect, your way of creating pull. But you allow life to flow. Maybe one night you're laughing with her over dinner, and the next you're unavailable because you're deep into a personal project you refuse to. She might expect you to always say yes to keep her happy, but you don't live for her approval. Instead, You respond to life based on your priorities, not our impulses. This is where the Stoic principle of control, what you can accept, what you can't, comes into play. You can control her expectations, but you can control how you show up. You remain warm, present, and genuine. Yet she can't put you in a box. One day you will surprise her with an unexpected act of kindness, and the next you'll surprise her by saying no when it crosses a line you won't bend on. She learns that you're not swayed by mood swings, fleeting trends, or momentary flattery. You move with a deeper compass. And here's the part that hooks her. You're dependable without being dull. Stable without being static. She feels safe because she knows you won't betray your own principles. Yet she feels excited because she never quite knows how you'll live them out in the moment. That blend is rare. It makes her mind work avert time. Trying to predict you, trying to decode you, trying to understand Eamon who can't be fully mapped. And Winch can't fully read you. She doesn't walk away. She leans in because acurity has turned into obsession. That's the quiet advantage of the Stoic man. He is a steady flame in a world of flickering lights. But the way his fire moves still keeps you watching, letting her wonder. Not chasing clarity. Number 10, letting her wonder. Not chasing clarity. Most men can't stand by misunderstood. They panic when a woman's reaction doesn't match their intention. They rush to explain themselves. To make sure she knows what they meant, to protect their image in her eyes. Butu, you let her sit in the unknown. You didn't hand her a manual on who you are, why you do what you do. You allow space for curiosity to build instead, suffocating it with over-explanation. A Stoic man understands that not all questions deserve answers and not all feelings need to be defined. You don't force a conclusion because the moment you do, you rob her of the chance to think about you when you're not there. Think about it. When you explain every move, you close the loop in her mind. There's nothing left for her to wonder about, nothing for her to replay at night. But when you resist that urge, she's the one doing the work. She's Theon replaying your words, searching for meaning in your pauses, and wondering, you didn't follow the script that most men follow. Maybe you didn't respond to that text right away. Not because you're trying to be clever, but because you were deep in some thinking port to you. Maybe you ended Thekel first, not to prove a point, but because you had somewhere to be. Andy, our time matters too. These aren't games. They're the natural rhythm of a man who lives for more than someone else's constant approval. Stoicism teaches that the opinions of others, especially their momentary judgments, are beyond our control. Your task is toked in accordance with your principles, not to micromanage how she interpret them. When you live like that, you give her something rare. Unpredictability and integrity. She can't pin you down, yet she knows you're not chaotic. You're steady, but not fully accessible, and that balance drives her crazy in the best way. Because it's not confusion born from mixed signals, it's intrigue born from self-possession. The less she can read you, the more she thinks of Butu. And when her mind starts looping on questions she can't quite answer, Winch catches herself wondering what are her feeling, where your thoughts are, and why you're not rushing to confirm them. That's when curiosity turns into a pull she can't ignore. Not because ya played her, but because you stayed true to yourself without needing her to see every page of your story. And that's the conclusion beauty of it. When you stop trying to be completely understood, when you stop rushing to hand someone the full map to your mind, you create space. Space for Sari, space for curiosity, space for her to lean in closer, because she can't quite figure you out. In a world addicted to oversharing, the man who can't hold back with purpose, who can live aligned with his own values without seeking constant validation, Beccamis and Fergal. Not because he hides, but because he only reveals what's worth revealing on his terms in his time. So, if you found value in this, take a second to hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow. Drop a comment below and tell me which part of this resonated with you most. Or just type mystery is magnetic so I know you've made it to the end. And before you go, check out the recommended videos on your screen right now. They'll take this idea even deeper and give you more tools Tobcome, the man you're meant to be.